Hey guys, today I'll be showing you how to crochet this Raglan cardigan. We're only gonna be using 2 stitches for the whole project, double crochet and single crochet. This cardigan is quite basic. We're gonna begin from the neckline and then work our way down, increasing in the round. Once we get to the underarm, we're gonna separate the sleeves and then work the body and the sleeves separately. Then work the cuffs, collar, bottom ribbing, and finally the borders. With the Raglan style, it's unlikely your finished cardigan doesn't fit you. You pretty much just do the same thing here, just follow what I do, and then the only thing you need to decide is where to stop before you separate the sleeves. If you separate the sleeves earlier, then your underarm is going to be higher than mine, and vice versa. For this project, I'm going to be using Jumbo Muffin. The color is Soft Laughter. This yarn is 100% acrylic. So as you can see, this yarn is multicolored, but you can also come up with your own color combination with like different yarns of different brands. But if you are planning to do that, just make sure whatever yarn you use share the same thickness. So this yarn calls for a 4.5mm needle size, but I'm going to be using a hook. So I'm going to go up half a size, which is 5mm. I'm also going to be using some white yarn of the same weight for the cuffs and ribbings. So we're going to begin with a slip knot. Insert your hook. Then make a chain. This chain is the collar length around your neck. So I chained 64, and this chain now measures about 17 inches when relaxed like this. This chain is the collar length. So you're going to put this chain around your neck and make sure the ends can meet. Apart from that, there is one more requirement for the chain number. Your chain number has to be a multiple of 6 plus 4. So my number is 64, that is 6 times 10 plus 4. That plus 4 is the 4 increase spot where we need to work the increase. So once you got a multiple of 6 plus 4, we're going to need 4 stitch markers to mark out those increase spots. So to work out where those spots are, we're going to do the maths in reverse. So you're going to use your chain number first minus 4, then you get a new number, then you divide that new number by 6. So like I said, I have 64 minus 4, I get 60, then 60 divided by 6, I get 10. So remember that number you have. My number is 10, so here is what I'm going to do. From the beginning of the chain, I'm going to count out the first 10 chains. 3, 5, 3, 5. That's number 10. And then I'm going to mark the next stitch, and that's my first increase spot. Then I'm going to count out another 10. Number 10, and put a stitch marker in the next stitch. So the first 10 is actually going to be the front right, second 10 the right arm, and then we get to the back side. For the back, I'm going to leave twice my number. My number is 10, so I'm going to count out 20. 15, 20. Number 20, and after that, the stitch after it, a stitch marker. then 10 again for the left arm, 10, 1 stitch marker in the next stitch, and then I should have 10 stitches left for the left front panel. So now that we've got the color, we are going to work our way down. Keep increasing at these 4 spots. I'm going to work like this all the way to the other end, and then turn, work my way back, and then back and forth like that. So to begin, row 1, chain 1. In the second stitch from the hook, 1, 2, turn your chain like this to find its back loop. Insert your hook in that back loop. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we have 2 vertical loops like this. I'm going to insert my hook in the left one, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, then yarn over again, pull through 2. And this is how we're going to make the first double crochet of every row. And from the second stitch, we're going to work double crochets the usual way. Yarn over, insert my hook in the next stitch, back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. Next stitch, yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. So I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch to the first stitch marker. Okay, and then in this marked stitch, in its back loop, I'm going to work 3 double crochets. So that's 1 in the same stitch, work a second one, then a third one, okay. I'm going to take off this stitch marker and mark the middle one, the middle double crochet I just did. And then I can continue working my double crochet. And then when I get to the next marked stitch, I'm going to work 3 double crochets in the back loop of that stitch. So 3 double crochets in one stitch, and then take off the stitch marker and mark the middle double crochet. And do the same for the other 2 marked stitches as well. This is my last stitch. I'm going to work a double crochet in it. Then we're going to begin row 2. I'm going to directly turn. And now we're going to make the first stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch, both loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 to make a single crochet. 2 horizontal loops, insert my hook in the left one, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, then yarn over, pull through 2 again, and we just did the first double crochet. In the second stitch, yarn over, insert your hook in that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and make your double crochet. And from here, you're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch. If you're new to how we started the first stitch, you might want to mark it. So that's the first stitch. And now I'm just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch. And when I reach this stitch marker, I'm going to work 3 double crochets. So I got to the first marked stitch. I'm going to take off that stitch marker, work 3 double crochets in it. One, 2, and 3, and mark the middle stitch. Like that. And then from the next stitch, 1 double crochet in each stitch. So every time you get to a marked stitch, we've got 1, 2, 3 left. You're going to work 3 double crochets in that stitch. First take off your stitch marker and then work 3 double crochets in that stitch, and then put the stitch marker back on the middle one, the second double crochet. And for the rest of the stitches, just 1 double crochet in each stitch in both loops, like that. So I'm going to finish row 2 and meet you back here. That is the last stitch. This one here. So just work your last double crochet in that stitch. From row 3, the increase pattern is actually going to be the same as row 2, but let's just do that together again. So without chaining, turn your work, insert your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, directly work a single crochet, then insert your hook in the left vertical loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You can mark this stitch. And then just work 1 double crochet in each stitch to the first marked stitch. Like I said before, the increase pattern is the same. So when you get to this marked stitch, take off your stitch marker, work 3 double crochet in it, place the stitch marker back in the middle stitch, and then just work 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the next marked stitch. And then when you get to the next marked stitch, do the same thing again. Take off your stitch marker, work 3 double crochets in the same stitch, and then put the stitch marker back on in the middle stitch. I'm going to work 3 rows per color change, so I'm going to finish this row 3 first, and then show you how to change color. I've got my last stitch marked, and this is where we change color. So I'm going to get my yarn ready. The next color is this minty green. So I got my next color ready. And I'm going to take off this stitch marker, change color here. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook in that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 once. And this is where we change color, grab the new color, and use it to pull through the last 2 loops on the hook. And I can get rid of this end. And these 2 ends, I'm going to tie them together. And when I work the next row, I'm going to wrap them in the work so I don't have to fasten them off later. So I just turn my work and I'm going to work my first stitch. So just like before, I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch, but this time I'm going to put the ends above my hook like that. And then pull up a loop, make my first stitch just like before. So that's how you change color. And then when I work my next stitch, make sure the ends are above the hook as well. And that's how you wrap them in the work. And do that with every stitch until you got rid of the tails. And like I said, if you're new, don't forget to mark your first stitch. So you're just going to keep working like this. For the color pattern, you change color every 3 rows. And for the increase pattern, just repeat row 2, which is 1 double crochet in each stitch. And at these 4 marked stitches, work 3 double crochets. And then you take off the stitch marker and put it back in the middle double crochet. So I'm going to continue working like this, following the color pattern here. So this is what I have so far. That's the neck, and this is the underarm. So I've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21, 22 rows. I've done 22 rows, and from the neckline, it measures about 12 inches. So I finished row 22 and started 23. And from row 23, we're going to separate the sleeves. So I started this row, 1 double crochet in each stitch, all the way to my first increase spot, which is marked. I'm going to work 1 double crochet in this spot, and chain 2. And then I'm going to skip all these stitches. These are the sleeve stitches. And directly work a double crochet in the next increase spot. Then I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch again, all the way to the next stitch marker. When you get to the next stitch marker, work a double crochet in this marked stitch. And then again, we just chain 2, and skip all the stitches here and work a double crochet in the next marked stitch. And from here, just work 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way to the end of the row. And then begin your next row as usual. Work 1 double crochet in each stitch. When you get back to the chain 2, just work 1 double crochet in each of the 2 chains. So you'll have 2 double crochets. And then from the next double crochet, work 1 double crochet in each stitch. So you're gonna work 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way to the chain 2, and then just work 1 double crochet in each of the 2 chains. So 1 double here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then just continue working from there. Finish this row, begin your next row as usual, and then just work back and forth like that. No increase in any of the stitches. So if you continue working like that, this is gonna go straight down and we're gonna have our body section. And don't forget to keep changing color every 3 rows. I haven't finished the body part, but let me just show you how to do the sleeve first. Using the same color, I'm gonna make a slip knot. So remember we chained 2 here. This is the center of the underarm. I'm going to begin from this stitch, work my stitches all the way around, and that's my last stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook here in the first stitch and connect the yarn. So we're going to begin the first stitch as usual. Work a single crochet in this stitch first. Then in the left loop, work 1 more single crochet. So the next stitch is actually a horizontal double crochet. I'm going to work 2 double crochets like this. So I'm just going to insert my hook in 2 loops and work a double crochet and do that again in 2 loops and double crochet. And then I'm going to skip the next stitch, which is marked. That's the increase spot from before. So I'm going to skip that stitch and directly work a double crochet from the next stitch. And then from there, just work 1 double crochet in each stitch. So I've crocheted all the way around. And again, I'm going to skip this middle stitch. Skip this one. We have a horizontal double crochet here. So I'm going to work 2 double crochets here, just like before. And then that's the other chain 1. Work the last double crochet. And then I'm gonna slip stitch in the first stitch, which is this one. When you finish one round, you're gonna directly turn. That's the last stitch of this round. I'm gonna work my first stitch in this stitch. And then just work one double crochet in each stitch. I'll see you at the end of the round. So the last stitch we should work in is this one. It looks a little different from other stitches. That is the first double crochet we made for this row. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my last double crochet in it. And then I'm gonna slip stitch in the first stitch. I worked 3 rows in yellow, so I need to change color from the next row. So to change color when you are working a sleeve, simply just chain 1 here. And then pull tight. And turn your work and begin working double crochets from the first stitch. I'll tie these together actually. And when I work my stitches, I can just hold this tail with my work and wrap it in the work. So beginning from the first stitch, work the first double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in each stitch. So work like this, 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way to the last stitch, and then slip stitch in the first stitch. Then turn your work and work your next round. So I'm going to work the next 3 rounds in blue, and then I'll meet you back here and show you how to decrease from there. So I finished those 3 rounds in blue and started my next round normally. So from this round, we're going to decrease every round, but the decrease only happens at the end of the round. So you're going to begin this round normally and 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way to the last 3 stitches. That is the last stitch, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to work a double crochet 2 together decrease over the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to yarn over first, insert my hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over again, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 3. And then just finish your last stitch normally. Slip stitch in the first stitch. So this is the pattern for a decrease row. 1 double crochet in each stitch to the last 3 stitches, then work a double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches, then 1 last double crochet in the last stitch. So like I said, from here, we're going to decrease in every round. So next round is decrease as well. So turn your work. Begin this round normally. And then work 1 double crochet in each stitch to the last 3 stitches. So last 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work a double crochet 2 together. So yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 3. And then go ahead and finish your last double crochet. And then slip stitch in the first stitch. So we are going to repeat this decrease row for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 colors, and each color has 3 rounds, so 18 rounds in total. So that's decrease row 1, 2. You're going to decrease every round and work all the way up to round 18. And when you finish all that, you should be here. This is round 18. And then after that, you're going to do 3 plain double crochet rounds, meaning no decrease. So there's no decrease at the end of each round, just 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. When you finish the last row, just slip stitch in the first stitch, chain 1, and fasten off. So from the end of the sleeve to row 1, is about 27 inches. Next, we're going to make the cuff. So I'm going to make a slip knot first and connect the yarn to the first stitch. This is the center of the underarm. So I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch and connect the yarn. We're doing this from the right side, by the way. We're going to first do 1 round of single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook in the same stitch. I'm going to carry the tails and make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You can mark this stitch. And then from the next stitch, work 1 single crochet in each stitch. Finish the last stitch and slip stitch in the first stitch. And then chain 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is how long the cuff is gonna be. And then we're gonna chain 1 to turn. And then in the back loop, of the second stitch, 1, 2, back loop, insert your hook, and make a single crochet. Back loop of the next stitch, 1 single crochet, next stitch, 1 single. So go ahead and work 1 single crochet in the back loop of each chain. And you should have 10 single crochets in total. So we've chained 10 and worked 10 single crochets in each chain. When we get to this edge, we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. So slip stitch 3 times and then turn your work and skip the 3 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3. In the first single crochet, insert your hook in the back loop and work a single crochet. And then work 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch. Chain 1 and turn. From the first single crochet, insert your hook in the back loop and work a single crochet in each stitch. Don't miss the last stitch. And then, like I said, each time you get to this edge, slip stitch in the next 3 stitches. So the next stitch is this one, not this one here. So I'm gonna slip stitch once, twice, and a third time. Turn your work and work 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch. Chain 1 here, 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch all the way back, and then slip stitch 3 times again. So you're going to work back loop single crochet rows back and forth like that along this edge. So here I don't have 3 stitches, I've got 2. That's the next stitch after this. So I'm gonna slip stitch twice and work 1 last row of back loop single crochet. So I finished that 1 last row, and then we're going to join the 2 edges together, but we're going to do it from the wrong side. This is the right side, so I'm going to hold these 2 edges like this and join them from this side. I'm going to take off my hook and I'm going to slip stitch these 2 edges together. So for this front edge, I'm going to pick up both loops every time I pick up a stitch. And for the other edge, I'm going to insert in the back loop of each stitch when I pick them up. Okay, so from the first stitch, insert my hook in the first stitch, both loops, hold this loop through, and chain 1, pull tight. In the next stitch, both loops. And for the other edge, we're only going to pick up the back loop. So in the next stitch, back loop, yarn over, pull through all, like that, slip stitch. Next stitch, both loops, and next stitch, back loop, slip stitch. Both loops, back loop, slip stitch. And one last stitch, both loops and back loop, slip stitch, and then chain one, cut the yarn. So that is how to do the cuff. The color and the bottom ribbing is a little different but very similar. So first I'm gonna do one round of slip stitches, and the reason why I do that is because I don't want this color to be stretchy. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and we're doing this from the right side of the work. Connect the yarn to the first stitch. So from the next stitch, just work one slip stitch in each stitch in both loops. Last two stitches. And fasten off. Just like the cuff, we're gonna do one round of single crochets first. So connect the yarn in the first stitch. The two loops at the front is the slip stitches, and the top two loops here is the double crochets, and we're gonna work in the top two loops. So I'm gonna insert my hook in the first stitch, connect the yarn, so in the first stitch work a single crochet, and I'm going to carry all these tails. So one single crochet, and the second stitch is here, top two loops. I'm going to insert my hook in the top two loops. It's going to be a bit difficult, but for this row you just take your time. So continue working like this around the collar. Last stitch. And then I'm gonna make a chain plus one to turn. We can start making the color. You can chain as many as you want depending on how big you want your color. And just like the cuff, I'm gonna work from the second stitch, back loop single crochets in each stitch. And then when I get to this edge, I'm gonna slip stitch twice. So that is the difference. that I was talking about before. For the cuff, when we get to this edge, we slip stitch 3 times from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3. But for the collar and the bottom ribbing, you only slip stitch twice, 1, 2, every time you get to this edge, but everything else is the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my collar. So I'm working my single crochets back and then slip stitch in the very last stitch. Then fasten off. This is the bottom ribbing, and for this ribbing I chained 10 plus 1 to turn, so I have 10 single crochets for each row. And when I get to the edge, slip stitch twice every time. Work single crochets all the way back, slip stitch in the last stitch, and fasten off. The one last thing we need to do is add border at the front along the edges. So I'm gonna start from this side, make a slip knot, and we're gonna first do 1 row of single crochet to build a foundation. So for these stitches, I'm gonna insert in the back loop. So insert my hook in the back loop of the first stitch and connect the yarn. Chain 1. In the same stitch back loop, work a single crochet. And then 1 back loop single crochet in each of these single crochets. And I'm going to do 1 single crochet here. And then we have these double crochet rows. For each double crochet row, I'm going to work 2 single crochets. So I'm going to work 2 singles here, 2 here, and 2 here. Like that. So that's 6 single crochets for this color. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing. 2 single crochets here, 2 here, and 2 here. And work single crochets all the way to the end. 6 single crochets here. 1 single crochet for this single crochet row. And then 1 back loop single crochets for each single crochet here, all the way to the end. So I finished the last single crochet, and then I'm going to turn my work. Now we're going to work back loop double crochet rows like this along this edge. So it's kind of like this, but this is single crochet. When we work along this edge, we're going to do double crochets. So each row is going to have 5 double crochets. So I'm going to chain 5, 4, 5, and then chain 1 more. In the back loop of the second stitch from the hook, insert your hook, and just like before how we make our first double crochet, I'm going to first make a single crochet and insert my hook in the left vertical loop and make 1 more single crochet. And then in the back loop of the next stitch, work a single crochet. Back loop of the next stitch, single crochet. This is number 3, and we have 2 more to work. And the last one. And then I'm going to slip stitch this row to this edge. I'm going to skip the second single crochet and slip stitch in the third one. And then to begin the next row, I'm going to slip stitch 2 more times. In the next stitch, 1, next stitch, a second time. And then turn your work. 5 double crochets here. Work 1 double crochet in the back loop of each of them. Last one. And then turn your work. In the back loop of the first stitch, make the first double crochet like before. Back loop of the next stitch, double crochet. Number 3. 4. 5. Whenever we get to this edge, we're gonna skip the first stitch, which is this one. This is the next stitch. Skip that one. In the next stitch, slip stitch. And then slip stitch 2 more times. 1 and 2. And turn your work. Work back loop double crochets in each of these 5 double crochets, and then turn your work directly. Make your first double crochet again, 5 double crochets, and then skip 1 stitch, slip stitch in the next 3 stitches. So work like this back and forth until you reach the end of this row. When you finish the last stitch, fasten off. And you want to do the same for the other side. For the first single crochet row, we're going to be doing it from the right side, so we're going to start the row from the bottom. And just like this side, for these single crochets, work in the back loop. So 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch, and we have a single crochet row here, work 1 single crochet here, and for every 2 double crochet rows, work 2 single crochets. So 6 single crochets, 6 here, and all the way to here, 6 single crochets here, and for this single crochet row, work 1 single crochet, and then I have 15 single crochets here. I'm gonna work 1 single crochet in the back loop of each of them, and then chain 5 again, like we did here. So you can rewind the video, go back to how we started this section here, and repeat the same thing for this edge. And after that, don't forget to weave in all the ends, and then it's done.